Good afternoon. Today we're going to change the sacrificial anode in the hot water system on the Jayco Silverline. Pretty much the sacrificial anode is something that needs to be replaced in every caravan heater, water heater. In this case it is located down here and it's in with some Teflon tape, and it's a size 27 socket. And to commence the process, what you need to do is put that on there first, but before you do anything else, usually you'll have yourself an on and off button up in here. Let me see if I can get in there. There's the on and off switch. Turn it to the off position. I've disconnected the power and the gas is turned off anyway, but that's not going to necessarily be an issue. Now, probably the most important thing you'll need to do is this little thing here that will release any pressure that is inside the tank, so that when you loosen this, you don't end up with all this just shooting all out over you. Now, in my case, the water has cooled down, so it's not that much of an issue, but you just need to be careful if you're doing this as part of your trip, when the hot water can actually be quite scalding. Therefore, what you need to do is you just simply just lift this up and it will release some water and drip down underneath. All you got to do is just do that to relieve the pressure, and then you're done. Then just let it go, then it just flops around. It's not really too much of an issue. Now, to remove this, quite simply, we're going to loosen this off. You can loosen it off enough to allow the water to start coming out. I've got it to the point where it is now just finger tight. And the water will start coming out, which you can just see now. It's coming out. And the sacrificial anode in here, which was only put in a year ago, you can see the bulk of it is okay. But look down the end here, it's just a complete mess, which demonstrates that the actual anode is working. Now, this could go back in for another couple of months, but it's not like I'm using this full time. It's not running all the time, and I will just replace it for the cost of like $30 odd. It's better to have this thing replaced. So for now, that can just go down there and I'll go over and get a new one. Now, the water here will just keep coming out, and you can see these bits and pieces here, not the Christmas beetle, but these bits and pieces here are all the parts of the sacrificial anode. What the sacrificial anode is actually doing is it's eating the water that you put in it can be of different quality. Therefore, it's actually, the poor quality water is eating away at this sacrificial anode rather than eating away at the internals of your hot water system. Replacing this regularly is only going to prolong the life of this hot water system. Therefore, I do it. I have a calendar mark every 12 months to just replace it. It's probably gone 14 months at the moment. But that's 14 months of irregular use, probably 3 months, 4 months maybe of use over that period. Therefore, if you're using it every day because you're on the road every day, I'd probably be wanting to do this every 6 months. And you can get them, they range from between $20 and $30. You can get them at most places. Anaconda has them. You can get them directly from Jayco if you want to pay twice the money for the same thing. You can get them from Dometic, you can get them on eBay, you can get them anywhere. Therefore, what I'm suggesting you do is do this as often as you probably need to. It doesn't take long to even crack it open like I've just done and give it a check. But for now, we'll just let this drain out. It's coming out fairly clean because there wasn't all that much eroded away in the scheme of things on that anode. Therefore, I've got, just that little bit that was here. So I reckon we don't even need to flush. But if you wanted to flush, I've just got a small high pressure wash bendy connection, which I'll show you, and we'll put it in there anyway, and I can demonstrate to you what you should do as a precautionary measure anyway. Now if we go close up in here, you can see around the thread inside there, not the Teflon part, but you can see in here there's a bit of a crust that's formed over the thread. That's all part of the sacrificial anode, and there's some little chunks there. You can sort of see even more has come out now. But if I give this a bit of a scrape, let me get a screwdriver. You can see there that stuff is actually coming out. Therefore, even though I said otherwise, I'd probably be more inclined to flush this and give this thread a bit more of a clean. Now down inside there, I might be able to get my finger in there to demonstrate to you the pieces that have broken off, and these will come out during a flush. But you can see there the discoloration of the water, that it really does probably need a flush. So I'm going to go and get the proper hose attachments and give it a flush. Now this is the small pressure washer hose connection that I've got that just goes into the normal garden hose. Aldi has them from time to time, quite cheap, $7 or $8 I think they are, but it just sort of intensifies the pressure. It has the flexible end on it, and it gives me the ability to put it all the way inside there and blast the insides of the water tank out. So yes, I do need some sort of tripod or even some sort of GoPro head connection or chest connection, but you get my drift. I'm going to try and turn this on and balance. Okay, so now we're just putting the high pressure washer into the hot water system, and we're going to try and flush out some of the crap that's in the bottom there, which you can probably see it coming out, all that discoloration. The stronger the better, until it comes out clear. That's not too bad. You can still see a bit of discoloration, which will give it another flush in a second. But around the inside of the thread, what we want to do is give this a little bit of a clean, because of the calcification comes out. Get it all nice and clean, ready for the next anode to go in, and then we'll give it another flush. Now that's on full, and you can see all the little bits and pieces that are coming out, including all of the stuff that's down in here, all this stuff. Heaps of it coming out. Okay, now that's pretty clear now. So I think that's pretty much done what needs to happen. The next step, tidy up all around this area here, get rid of all of the little bits and pieces of the anode, clean all in here, get all the little pieces out, and then we're ready to install the new anode, turn everything back on, and retest the entire system. Do this every few months if you're traveling on the road. Do it every 12 months if it's parked for the most of the time, and you'll keep this nice and clean and fully operational for years. Now if we go close up in here, You can see around the thread inside there, not the Teflon part, but you can see in here there's a bit of a crust that's formed over the thread. That's all part of the sacrificial anode, and there's some little chunks there. You can sort of see even more has come out now. But if I give this a bit of a scrape, let me get a screwdriver. You can see there that that stuff is actually coming out. Therefore, even though I said otherwise, I'd probably be more inclined to flush this and give this thread a bit more of a clean. Now down inside there, I might be able to get my finger in there to demonstrate to you the pieces that have broken off, and these will come out during a flush. But you can see there the discoloration of the water, that it really does probably need a flush. So I'm going to go and get the proper hose attachments and give it a flush. Okay, here's a bit of a recap. We've put the Teflon tape on to the anode, just like that, but obviously on the new one. So that's been done. We've tightened it up with the number 27 socket. She's in there, she's nice and tight, she has the Teflon around it. The water supply is connected to the Caravan. Once you've connected that, if you sit here, you can hear it filling up the hot water system, which I think is pretty much done because it's relatively quick. And now it's just a matter of checking to make sure there are no leaks around this, which in this case it's perfectly fine. Now we can make sure the power supply is connected to the Caravan, which you can see down there, it's connected. And now we turn it on at this switch here, leave the water connected, and we'll test the hot water in probably 15-20 minutes inside, and everything should be perfectly fine. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I hope this has been of use to you. One thing I will ask is what everybody asks, and that is, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to the channel. It's something that I would really appreciate. I also subscribe back to people that subscribe to me. So I would really appreciate it if you could do that. I'd also love to get some comments or questions, and I answer every single one of them. So thank you very much again, and I hope you got something out of this, and I hope that you do your repair or your maintenance on your Caravan for 13 bucks instead of putting it into one of the service agents. It'll charge you a couple of $100. Okay, all the best and happy travels and happy caravanning and camping.